I don't know about y'all, but this week went by just as quickly as this year did. Honestly, I still cannot believe that it's fucking December right now.
That catfish tragic. Online savage, real life average.
So remember I said back in my last video that I would feel so much better once Ari Lennox started tweeting again and was back on social media? Well, she did. Yesterday she said, "Hey loves, I'm safe. Thank you so much for your prayers and love." And yeah, everybody underneath the comments was just like, thank you, because we was getting ready to board a plane, like we was getting ready to ride out. I'm just glad she's all right. And you know also that everybody is calling the Omicron variant of COVID-19, they're calling it the Omicron variant, and Omicron finally said something about it. He was just like, there's nothing more healing than music or a good laugh. I'm thankful to be able to give people both, from the Omicron dance challenge to being superimposed on the new variant. The internet is forever undefeated. While we laugh, stay safe and stay healthy. I just want to thank Omarion for sending me that personal message. It may have shown up on your timeline, but he was telling me personally, he was saying to me specifically to stay safe and healthy. And of course, if Daddy Omarion wants me to stay safe and healthy, that's exactly what the hell I'm gonna do. Moving on to Rihanna. Rihanna said you hoes need to stop impregnating her, okay? It's like every 3 months, every 6 months, there's a rumor that Rihanna is pregnant, and apparently a fan was in her DMs, her Instagram DMs, and was just like, can I come to the baby shower, sis? And she said, ha, stop. You ain't come to the first 10 baby showers. Y'all breed me every year, damn it. Well, so I guess that puts all the rumors to rest. I saw them swirling around earlier this week, but when it comes to pregnancy rumors and all that shit, I'm not really gonna touch them shits. Unless the person clears it up or talks about it like Rihanna just did, I don't really wanna talk about that shit, because, I mean, a woman steps out after she had a Thanksgiving meal and y'all are ready to fucking talk about she pregnant. I don't fuck with that shit, you know what I mean? Like, so I'm glad she just said, hey girls, y'all need to shut the fuck up and move the fuck along. That's it. Talking really quick, I ain't gonna spend too much time on it though, because this shit is depressing as hell. I'm talking really quickly about the Oxford thing, the Oxford high school thing that happened. Y'all already know. Apparently his parents are being charged. A prosecutor has filed involuntary manslaughter charges against the parents of a 15-year-old accused of killing 4 students and wounding 7 at a Michigan high school at Oxford High. So, yeah, that situation is extremely wild to me. Like I said, not gonna talk about it for too much. Just wanted to update y'all on that. I think that whole situation, like I said before, is so unfortunate, so disgusting, especially when, like, I cannot imagine as a parent sending your kid to school to learn some shit, you know what I mean? And the next day you don't see them and they don't fucking exist anymore. That shit is ridiculous. Get all their asses out of here, in my opinion. Get their ass out of here. I'm gonna read you something from the Daily Beast, and the headline is, HIV/AIDS organizations say that DaBaby ghosted us and didn't donate a dime. Following a wave of backlash, DaBaby embarked on a half-hearted apology tour. His social media apologies have since been deleted, and met with a handful of HIV/AIDS awareness organizations back in August in the name of educating himself and repairing his image. But several of those organizations told the Daily Beast that DaBaby never made a financial contribution to them. Additionally, DaBaby failed to partner with any of the groups that he'd met with for World AIDS Day. And many of the organizations say they never heard from DaBaby again. I want us to, just like I said on Twitter, I want us to be okay with sometimes just closing the door, slamming the door in some of these niggas' faces. Like, I think that a lot of organizations, especially when you're talking about oppressed groups or marginalized groups, they feel like they have to sit at the other end of the table and be the bigger person. And you know what I mean? They was all here talking about, oh, we had such good conversations. All these organizations, oh, we had such good conversations with DaBaby. Oh, it was so constructive, all this shit. I'm just like, when a bigot shows you that they a bigot and they don't give a fuck about what you're talking about, then that's exactly what is tea. What you see is what you get, and every time they be sticking their necks out in so many cases. But like I said, it's so annoying when marginalized people do all this labor to try and seem like they're just, you know, taking the high road or some shit like that, and they still get fucked in the end. I want us to use that energy that we put into trying to make sure that we seem unbiased and trying, you know, we're reaching out. Put that energy into protecting our fucking space. That's it. Fuck these bigots. You know what I mean? I don't know why they thought this development that DaBaby was not gonna actually do what he said he was gonna do, or pay money, or actually partner with these organizations. I don't know why they thought that shit was such a surprise. Oh my gosh, I didn't expect this shit. Like, are you serious? Are you serious? You didn't think that shit was gonna happen? Like I said, we don't always have to come out here acting like we want to be the bigger person, acting like we want to educate. Bitches can Google. Bitches can Google, okay? A lot of people, I felt like a lot of organizations, just from the outside looking in, I felt like they wanted the PR statement to say that they didn't help DaBaby or whatever, and y'all end up looking, some people end up looking stupid. I'm sorry. Like, I think that there is a difference between people who want to learn some shit and just don't have the right vocabulary, don't have the right tools, or have a genuine question, or they really are interested in educating themselves, versus somebody who just don't give a fuck. And I don't understand why every single time you have certain groups, I mean, you talk about LGBT groups, even sometimes you see just overall like advocates for like rights when it comes to black people in general. Like, you see some of these people putting themselves on the line for these niggas. Like, stop. They don't like y'all. They don't like y'all. Put that energy into protecting yourself, protecting the underrepresented, and move on about your business, bitch. If they want to learn some shit, tell them to Google some shit. Period. So apparently Hulu got dragged for this special that they had released called Astroworld, Concert from Hell. And in my opinion, and obviously a lot of other people's opinions, the way that they promoted it, it felt like it was this documentary, this like, oh, here, because look at the description for it. It says, Travis Scott's Astroworld Festival was supposed to be the concert of a lifetime, but it turned into a tragic nightmare. A minute-by-minute look at what happened in the crowd, the young victims who were killed, and what happens next. So the way that they advertised it, the way that they promoted it, people were just like, are you serious? Family members are still burying, you know what I mean? Their loved ones and shit. Like, the legal cases haven't even started like that yet. So what are y'all talking about? What are you talking about? So immediately, like, they dragged it. Social media dragged the hell out of it. And Hulu said, you know what, we're gonna pull it. They took it down. A spokesperson told Variety, this was an investigative local news special from ABC 13 that originally aired on November 20th. This was not a Hulu documentary and has since been removed to avoid confusion. And it's just like, okay, in my opinion, especially with the way it was pushed initially, you cannot blame people for thinking that it was just like sensationalist kind of documentary. And with the language that was used, like I said, how it was promoted, how it was pushed out, you can't blame people for thinking that shit. And I guess by this point in time, I should be used to things being sensationalized, but people were just like, maybe they thought they was gonna get away with that shit, but it did not happen. They had to take that shit down. I guess this would be a good moment to talk about the Alec Baldwin thing, because that shit felt really misplaced and weird too. But I'm gonna talk about it a little bit later in the video. What I wanna touch on now is Joel Osteen's cash stash. I should not be laughing, but this shit is ridiculous, girl. Listen to this shit from Raw Story. A plumber found bags and bags of cash and checks in a bathroom wall during a repair in Joel's mega church. The discovery came several years after someone stole $600,000 in cash and checks from a safe at Osteen's Lakewood Church. So the cash was stolen in 2014. It was like $200,000 in cash, $400,000 in checks, right? And that was from one weekend's service. Girl, they was $600,000. I see why Joel be up there praying. Bitch, he's worshiping the old gods and the new for that amount of money. Girl, listen. So when the plumber found the cash, right? Houston police investigators came and questioned the plumber. His name is Justin. Removed the rest of the wall that I guess he was working on, discovering the rest of the money that was there. So a local Houston news station reported this and said, Justin said the church or HPD never thanked him or reached out to him about the $25,000 reward money. I guess they had put that up when the money was initially stolen in 2014, but he came to, you know, do some work, open that wall up and found it. So he's just like, girl, I found y'all coin. Y'all ain't gonna send me no money. They say they never responded. Justin said that he even called Crime Stoppers about his reward money, but never heard back. He tried to reach out to Joel Osteen, but he hasn't heard back from him either. I'm gonna talk about that shit in a second. And they go on, but a representative from the church confirmed the discovery of the money in a statement saying, recently, while repair work was being done at Lakewood Church, an undisclosed amount of cash, girl, we know the amount of money, I guess, and checks were found. Lakewood immediately notified the Houston Police Department and is assisting them with their investigation. Lakewood has no further comment at this time. It's funny to me because I'm just like, sis, you should have, Justin, you should have taken you at least $100. Like, oh my God. He's saying they didn't even reach out to him saying thank you for finding the money. He's saying that he didn't get his reward money out that shit, but you ain't even have $100 out that shit. Of course they not gonna reach out to you to thank you, bitch. You fucking uncovered Joel Osteen's piggy bank. You uncovered Joel Osteen's piggy bank, bitch. Bitch, he's mad as fuck. He don't gonna give you no money, bitch. He said, that was for a rainy day, girl. Like, you really went in my wall. Bitch, that's the perfect place to hide it though. Can you imagine like stealing some shit? But of course nobody's gonna look in the church for the missing money, I guess. Like if it's out the same. Bitch, he put that shit, somebody put that shit in the wall. I ain't saying Joel did it, but whatever, girl. At this point, them motherfuckers in there, especially religious people, girl, they be moving like gangsters, bro. Like they be moving like gangsters. And all you got to do is just frame it as a, miracle coming from Sky Daddy. Oh my gosh. It just was magically found, and he works in mysterious ways, and they will eat that shit up. That's what you got to do. That's all you got to do. If you want to get rich, if you want to have a whole bunch of money, start a religion, or, participate in one, manipulate lives and minds, bitch, and you got it, girl. Joel is moving like Pablo Escobar. But yeah, this is another reason why I think that all churches in general should be taxed the fuck out of, like taxed down. You know what I mean? Tax the teeth out their jaws, ho. But especially the mega churches, tax them bitches. Tax them. I mean, a lot of them already have so much pull in government, like, oh my gosh, might as well just tax these hoes. And remember, Miss Mamas didn't even want to open up his doors. Remember that shit? Remember during that, was it a storm or flooding or some shit like that? He didn't even want to open up his door. These bitches don't give a fuck about you hoes. Tax them bitches and spread that shit around in the community. Isn't that supposed to be the point of church anyway, girl? Anyway. So if you're wondering why everybody's talking about the U.S. Supreme Court right now, it's because of this. So the U.S. Supreme Court is hearing a Mississippi abortion rights case. So in this case, it's called Dobbs versus Jackson Women's Health Organization. And by the way, Thomas E. Dobbs, basically the state health officer of the Mississippi Department of Health. So Dobbs versus Jackson Women's Health Organization. Mississippi passed an act in 2018, but it has been blocked by 2 federal courts. It allows abortion after 15 weeks only in medical emergencies or for severe fetal abnormality, with no exception for rape or incest. According to SCOTUS blog, in this case, Mississippi has asked the court to challenge 2 landmark decisions related to reproductive rights, Roe versus Wade and Planned Parenthood versus Casey, which hold that the U.S. Constitution protects the right to have an abortion before the fetus can survive on its own outside the womb. So basically, it's looking like Roe versus Wade, like this shit is gonna be overturned, right? So, and the reason I say that is because there's a 6-3 conservative majority in the court. And I wrote this while I was doing the research for it. I wrote this and I said, I can't help but think about all the people or racist white women who voted against their own interests because of their isms and their phobias and their bigotry and whatever else. And now some of them are shaking in their boots because this shit is gonna be overturned. So it's like, you thought that they would come for others, but you didn't think that they were gonna come for everybody, like for you too. That's really one of the main points that I took away from this. It's really fucking crazy and scary what the hell is going on. I saw a lot of protests, a lot of shit, advocacy, all that shit going on like outside. While like arguments and shit are going on, it seems like every time we take a step, a half a step, a quarter of a step forward, them hoes want to fling us 1,000 steps back. And then, like I said before, I think the Democrats are about to, really get their ass beat in the upcoming election. So it's not looking good. It's giving Handmaid's Tale. And the last thing we're gonna talk about today is Alec Baldwin. He went up there on ABC, and I'm gonna read from ABC as well, to do an interview about the fatal accident that happened while he was on set for this movie called Rust. And Helena Hutchins, I think, if I'm pronouncing her name correctly, was the one who died. And like when the trailer dropped for this like interview with George Stephanopoulos that he was doing, and Alec was just like, oh yeah, it just felt so weird. It just felt so strange to me. Like, the investigation is not even over. I wonder if his lawyers told him not to do this shit and he did this shit anyway. It just feels so strange. Listen to some of the things that he was saying. He said, someone is responsible for what happened, like the prop gun going off, and it was in his hands. He said, someone is responsible, but I know it's not me, because live rounds were not supposed to be on set. He said he would never aim a gun at someone and pull a trigger. He said he didn't, like I said, he said he didn't pull the trigger. He was just like cocking it back and released the hammer. But it just gets fishier and fishier in general, like overall, because ABC says some crew members on the set, who are on the set, have described the fatal incident as a symptom of a production in disarray, leveling allegations in the press and in civil litigation of unsafe work conditions, long hours, insufficient housing accommodations, and underqualified hires. Just hours before the shooting, several crew members walked off the set in protest. But Baldwin said he's not sure about those complaints. He was wary about those complaints, saying that, 12 to 13 hour work days are common practice. He says any allegations of an unsafe environment were never brought to his attention. And I'm just thinking about him going through saying all this shit and like how this woman's family members must feel, listen to him say that, you know what I mean? It's just like, and then it goes on. Criticism of Baldwin has come from fellow actors, some of whom shared their own protocol using weapons while filming. George Clooney said recently that every single time I'm handed a gun on set, every time they handed me a gun, I look at it, I open it, I show it to the person I'm pointing it to, we show it to the crew. Baldwin took issue with Clooney's thinly veiled jab, calling it misplaced. He said there were a lot of people who felt it necessary to contribute some comment to the situation, which really didn't help the situation at all. If your protocol is you checking the gun every time, well, good for you. Good for you. My protocol was to trust the person that had the job. And it worked up until this point. George Stephanopoulos asked him, do you feel guilt? And Baldwin said, no. I might have killed myself if I thought I was responsible, and I don't say that lightly. So it's just like, overall, like with all of that going on, with everything that I said, I didn't cover everything, but those were a lot of the main points. Like, I don't know why he went up there and did the interview. It just didn't make any sense to do it. I can't imagine, like I said, being a family member to this woman who died and watching him say all this shit. It's just like, it doesn't seem necessary. It seems honestly self-serving a little bit, you know what I mean? And for him to be like, no, I don't feel guilty, I don't feel responsible. It's just like, nah, this whole interview could have just been, we didn't need it, So yeah, I think that's all I want to talk about today. Today's video was pretty long. Hopefully you enjoyed it though. I love y'all so much. Make sure you check out patreon.com/AdrianExpression, and make sure that you also have a good goddamn evening.
Don't you wanna come excite me? Sink your teeth into it, don't tread lightly. I'm dripping wet, you know it's all inside me. You can't resist the feeling, just come bite me. Baby, don't you wanna come excite me?